Rev up your engines! Today I'm going to talk about good ideas that didn't turn out so good when I actually made them. Now, as you may know, I'm always testing things out. And I see, hey, that's a good idea. Companies send me stuff, and I said, look, I don't do paid advertising, but I check stuff out. So they send me things. Well, today I'm going to talk about some things that really sounded like a good idea, but in reality, they weren't made right, and they aren't a good idea. Now, the first one is this Thai-made tire pressure monitoring system. A lot of cars, like my old Matrix, don't have one in, or maybe yours is broke, and it's going to cost you a fortune to repair it. Because on the ones that come with the tire pressure monitoring systems, it's built into the valve stem, which has a battery that eventually goes bad. They're not replaceable. You have to take the tire apart, put a new valve stem, put it in, recalibrate it with a computer. And over the years, you have to do it on all 4 tires because each one has a battery in it, and the battery's eventually going to go bad. You can spend upwards of $800–900 fixing them. And if your car didn't come with one, hey, you could add one in like this. You might think, what an idea. After all, this entire system with all the sensors and the unit that you need, and they screw on the outside of the tire, you don't need to take the tire apart, is only $59. You think, great, what an idea. There's only one problem. $59 for the system is just too cheap. They're too cheaply made. It's a safety device to keep you safe, but these aren't accurate. Now, as you can see, the installation is simple. This is right front. Just take it off. Screw on the sensor. And put one on each wheel. Very simple installation. Anybody can do it. This one's right rear. It even tells you which one goes where. No guesswork. Go to the other side, you put them on the front and the back on the other side. Then to begin with, you get the main power unit here. You stick it in, connect it to the unit. It's a solar charger, so after a while, you leave it in the sun, it'll charge itself. Now once you turn on, you can set the low pressure, the high pressure, so if it gets low or too high, it will warn you. It even supposed to do the temperature if your tires get too hot. Great, it's safety, right? There's only one problem. The stupid thing does not work all that well. See, it's not that easy to read. It's pretty dull. I have deliberately let pressure out of the tires, and it still reads that they're still the high pressures, that they didn't lose pressure. Sometimes it doesn't have any readings from one of them. It's a great idea. It's got a solar charger on it. This is just charging it up for now, but you can charge it in the sun and get rid of the wire. If you live in a place where it's sunny all the time, you don't drive all that much at night. But the stupid thing is just not accurate. I decided to do a little more research, saw what other people said on Amazon. A bunch of people said, don't waste your money on this pile of crap. I got a flat tire. It said they were still full. It wouldn't get the readings correctly. After a few months, the system just broke and didn't work anymore. Just realize, if you're buying something like this for $59, now you can sort of understand why it can cost you many, many hundreds of dollars to fix an original system. You have to take the tires apart. Only if the batteries go dead. You also have a computer inside the car that works. That can go bad. Lots of things can go bad with the factory systems. They cost a reasonable amount of money to build these factory systems. A cheap little thing like this is just too poorly made. I mean, can you imagine? You're feeling safe. I got my tire monitoring system up and it's showing everything's fine. Then you get a flat tire and it says they're all full and you weren't prepared. Don't trust a cheap thing like this. Not with something safety like that. Sure, it's easy to put on, and if they go bad, you can take them apart and put those little watch batteries inside and use them over. But really, it's not dependable. You do not want a safety device that is not dependable. It's basically a safety device that gives you a false sense of safety. You think your tires are up. It often doesn't update right. Sometimes it would take 10 minutes for it to get back to the pressure I changed it to. So you could lose the pressure in your tire and it's not updating you, and you get a blowout because, well, it waited 10 minutes to tell you the update. It's a cheap unit. Don't buy it. Don't trust your life on a thing that's supposed to save you that isn't giving you accurate information. So at least let me try this stuff out. And if it does actually work, I'll tell you. In this case, it doesn't. Save yourself the $59. As you can see, I let the air out of both right side tires. It says they still have 33 PSI in them, and they're not even connected to the car. They have no pressure coming out at all. So what's next in my Amazon box? It's a wireless backup camera system made by a company called Fox Park. And as you see, there's no wires. Here's the camera. And this is the solar power. Now when you're not using it, you're supposed to turn it off. So it's got an on-off switch. Of course, their definition of wireless is a little different than mine. Yes, there are no wires going from the camera all the way up here. See, in other words there, but still, you got these ugly wires hanging here to run the stupid thing. So it's not really wireless. And it's also not automatic. You put it in reverse. Of course, you'd mount this. I just didn't feel like mounting it. I'm just doing the explanation of it. You got mounting stuff you can mount it on. You notice the camera doesn't come on. You have to physically turn it on. Now you can see, they're not the greatest resolution in the world, you know, but it's working. But as you go forward, as you see, we'll put it in drive, start driving. The stupid camera stays on. You have to wait 60 seconds for it to turn off. Doesn't matter what buttons you push here, they got power buttons and stuff, it doesn't do anything. You just have to wait. So you're driving on the road and you got a backwards camera looking at you while you're driving forward. Not a very good idea. You would think with modern computers, they could have the technology in this thing that, okay, you back up, it's on. As soon as you start going forward, the software sees, oh, the things are getting smaller in the back and it turns itself off. But no, you gotta wait. And we're still waiting. It's still on. We'll actually sit here and wait until it turns itself off. I'm waiting, I'm waiting, I'm waiting. No matter what you're pushing the buttons, it's not going to turn itself off. Waiting, waiting, waiting. We'll wait some more. Is it going to turn itself off? Well, it's been over a minute and it hasn't turned itself off yet. Let's see if it ever does turn itself off. There, finally. Very annoying. Driving on the road, especially if it's at night, this thing's going to be blaring at you for over a minute, minute and a half before it turns itself off. They could have at least put something here that you push the button and it turns off. You push the button and it turns on because you have to make it work because it's not automatic. But then when you push the button, you can't turn the stupid thing off, no matter what you do, unless you unplug it. But you gotta unplug it every time and then plug it back in. Then as soon as you plug it in, it's automatically on. You would think it would have turned itself off. Let's try that again, okay? We unplugged it. It should stay off because they're supposed to be off, but it's not because it remembered. It stays on. No matter what you do, you can't turn the stupid thing off. To me, that's a deal breaker. At least have a button you can turn the stupid thing off once you back up and it's not looking at you for a minute. That is a deal killer. I would not buy this thing on that alone. Believe me, every single solar-powered wireless backup camera I tried broke within 6 months of me trying. There's no quality. They're cheaply made in China. They generally don't hold up over time. And this just isn't designed right. You should be able to turn the stupid thing off and it won't turn off. So most people don't want a bunch of ugly wires hanging off a cigarette lighter. And it's still got tons of wires on it. No, I give it a failing grade. Now the third good idea that didn't work out too good is hiding in my shed. This is a late model John Deere lawnmower tractor. Same color as the garbage truck in my neighborhood. And here's what sounds like a good idea. Easy change oil system. No muss, no fuss. All the oil's in here. When you take it off, there's an anti-drain valve. You take it off, put a new one on, fill the engine with oil, and away you go. Just take that off, change the oil, put it in, pour it, and away you go. Unfortunately, you're screwing yourself over in two ways by not having a normal oil filter. Oh no, this easy change oil filter, these things cost 50 bucks or more for the stupid filter. You get these filters for 6 bucks or so if you price around. So one, you're being screwed in price. But the main thing is you're screwing your lawnmower. Because when you're changing the oil this way, there's a ton of oil still in the bottom of the engine. Because when we go to the other side of the engine and look down here, that's the oil drain plug right here for the regular engine. You can see it's low. When I changed the oil the first time, using a new one of these $50 oil filters, the actual oil drain bolt on the other side is much lower. So I took that bolt out, and about 1/3 of the oil that this machine holds drained out extra. When you change the oil out, 1/3 of the dirty oil is still inside the engine. Now I took that off and then put it on. Of course, then it wasn't easy. You had to do the bottom, you had to get a drain pan and all that stuff. But being as cheap as I am, I went to the dealer and ordered stuff. It still hasn't come a month later, so I mean, they obviously don't care. So I went online, and for cheaper than what the dealer was charging me to order stuff, I got a conversion kit. You take the old oil filter off, screw this in, and the oil filter goes on the side. And then on this side of the engine, you go down here, you gotta take the plastic off. You take the drain plug out, and you replace it with this long drain plug that sticks in. My neighbor across the street has an older John Deere, and it already has this in. They build them that way. Then when you change the oil, all you do is push this, the end comes off. It's an O-ring. The oil drains out into your pan, and then you just snap this back on and twist it so it's sealed, put a new cheap oil filter on, and away you go. I just changed the oil. You can see it's crystal clear, right? So next year I'll change it and put the kit on. If you want it, do the easy oil change and then take the plug and put the plug back on. But then you're paying 50-something bucks for a filter and you still got to drain and you got a mess. I'll put the kit on. I can use the cheap filter and I can just change it. This will drip into my pan. I won't have any problems. Now, what kind of an idiot designed a machine that the easy oil change leaves 1/3 of the dirty oil in the engine, so of course it will wear out faster? Well, I guess they're really into planned obsolescence at John Deere. I guess they want 1/3 of the dirty oil to stay in the engine so it'll wear out faster and then you'll buy another one. That's just plain stupidity. And so I'm going to bypass it with this kit, which I bought online. Like I said, I ordered one through the dealer. A month later, it's still not here. Who knows? They didn't seem very interested in my business. They were more interested in looking at their phone and telling people that, oh, that's not under warranty when they call up. So, it's a bad design. Sounded like a good idea. Horrible idea. But yes, you can bypass it yourself for a very little bit of money. It cost me 20-something bucks for the whole kit and included 2 quarts oil and a filter. So, you can stop a good idea that went bad. So we don't get stuck with, hey, that looks like a great idea, I'll buy one. Only to find out it's a crappy idea that doesn't work. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.